Hey everybody, it's Charmel. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with another Tea Talk video. Today's Tea Talk is going to be about budgeting, saving, paying off debt, and still being able to live the life that you want. So similar to my last Tea Talk video, I talked about journaling. So I kind of want to keep that momentum going because we are headed into a new year. Everybody's going to be making their new goals and things like that, and so I just wanted to come and give you guys some tips. So first, let me say, make a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. Yeah, I don't have a degree in accounting. I'm not an accountant, but these are things that I personally researched and kind of studied, and these are things that I've implemented into my life in 2019. And like I said in my previous video, 2019 has been really good to me. I've seen a lot of things turn around with my finances, and yeah, like I said, I just want to keep that momentum going. I want everyone to finish 2019 strong and start 2020 even stronger. So let's get started. If you didn't watch my previous Tea Talk video about journaling and planning, pause this video, go back and watch that one first, and then come to this one. So step one, we want to talk about planning and setting goals. You want to prioritize these goals. So you have long-term financial goals and then short-term financial goals. And then you also have your current necessities. So things like housing, food, transportation. So I have my long-term financial vision, and like I tell you guys something that's on my long-term financial vision. I'm not a mother yet, but I plan on being a mother, and I just want to make sure that whenever I decide to have children, one big thing for me is that I want to be able to spend the first couple of years with my children while they're young. That is a goal for me, and obviously I plan to be married. I pray that I have a supportive husband and all that kind of good things, but still, as for my household, I want to make sure that we're financially secure to the point where I can be able to take off of work for a few years to raise my children while they're young. So I know that right now I need to start putting things into place so that when that day comes, I will be in a space to do that. Another thing for me, which is a long-term financial goal, is that I want to own a home in my current city where I was born and raised. The housing market is ridiculous. Gentrification is at an all-time high, and it's kind of discouraging, but it's something that I want and that I will have one day. So yeah, think of things like that when you're creating a long-term financial vision. And then as far as like a short-term financial vision, one thing for me is like I want to be able to travel. So I have to make sure that I'm saving enough money and my finances are in order so that I can be able to travel throughout the year. This year I took like 3 trips. And then like I said, you have your current necessities. So you always want to make sure that you're planning and everything's in order for housing, transportation, food, and things like that. So again, step one is planning and setting goals. You have to be able to set everything out, look at it before you can really figure out how to attack it. And again, go back to my previous video about journaling and planners if you want more details on how to actually plan and map out your goals. So my tip number 2 is tithing. So I know tithing is a touchy subject, but me personally, I am a tither. I do believe in the principle of tithing. Give and it shall be given unto you. When I made a decision to really like commit to tithing, before, you know, I was one of those people that would give like my $20 here, my $20 there, and I thought that I was doing something. And I wouldn't say that I was struggling per se, but there wasn't a significant difference in my finances. Now when I started tithing specifically, I'm not going to sit here and lie and make it seem like I've just made a bunch more money, but I will say the level of stress that it has when it comes to my money has decreased significantly. So prior, you know, you kind of do a lot of penny pinching, you do a lot of moving around, you do a lot of mental Olympics where it's like, am I going to be able to pay this when this bill comes up? Am I going to be able to do this? You know, and I don't really have that anxiety anymore when it comes to my money, because I know that as long as I do my part, God will always take care of me. So again, I am a tither. It is something that yeah, I really work to keep up with. I will say that I do fall off every now and then, and when I do fall off, I see a difference in how I look at money. And it's just the weirdest thing. Like when I'm paying my tithes regularly, I kid you guys not, when I'm paying them in full, as soon as I get paid, like I feel like my month just be good. When I don't pay my tithes and I just pay a little bit, I feel like for the whole month I be stressed out about money. So yeah, paying tithes is number 2 for me. It's an important thing when it comes to financial planning and just finances in general for me. For number 3, I'm going to tell you guys some tips on how to budget. So the first thing you want to do when creating a budget for yourself, you want to list out all the forms of your income and their frequency. So for me, as of now, I have 5 streams of income. So I have my main job, which is like the main source of my income. I have Google/YouTube, this right here. I don't make enough to live off of YouTube, but you know, I do get a check from Google every month. My 3rd source of income is hair and makeup. I do hair and makeup on the side. Again, my income with that varies, but it is another source of income. My 4th source of income is my merch. So another shameless plug, if you guys don't know, I do offer merch. It's always in my description box if you want to know where you can go and support, and it'll also pop up at the bottom of every video. And then my 5th source of income, which I haven't tapped into that much yet, is I recently was certified as a notary. I mainly did it for work, but I can do it for my job and I can do it outside of my job, and I can charge people for it. So those are my 5 sources of income. It's important to actually list out so you can see what actual income you have coming in. Once you know what you have coming in, you'll be able to chop it up and divide it the way you see fit. So the second part to creating a budget, after you create a list of all your income, you want to create a list for your expenses. So there are different kind of expenses. So you have fixed expenses, which are like bills that are going to be the same every month. So like your rent, your car note. And then you have variable expenses. So variable expenses are like my car registration, which I pay once a year, groceries that I buy weekly, they kind of go up and down, leisure activities, things like that. So create a list of your income and then create a list of your expenses. You take the total of your income and then you take the total of your expenses and then you compare them. So if you feel like every month you're always struggling or you just don't have enough money, but when you look at your income versus your expenses and you notice that you still have a bulk of money that's not being accounted for or not being allocated for, then you'll realize that, hey, I'm being wasteful in some areas. Let me try to figure out where those areas are at so that I can figure out how to have extra money to save and to put towards other things that I want. And then the other outcome is that you may realize that your expenses are either more than your income or your expenses are, you know, exactly with your income. And in cases like those are a little harder to work out. I know I was kind of like that at one point, and the first thing that I did was I started looking for a new job. Like the job that I was in, it was just not enough. I know that's not always the easiest solution, but if your expenses are more than your total income, you either need to figure out where you can cut back your expenses, and if you can't cut back on any expenses, then you have to figure out how to generate more income. I think it's said that millionaires have at least 10 sources of income. So yeah, that was step 3. You want to sit down and really get into the nitty-gritty of what you're doing with your money. So creating a budget kind of rolls into the 4th talking point, which is about decreasing debt. So budgeting and decreasing your debt kind of goes hand in hand. So similar to how you listed out your income and how you listed out your expenses, you want to do the same thing with your debt. Now debt is kind of one of those things. So like technically your car note is a form of debt, but for me I just count it as a regular bill because it's a bill that I'm gonna pay. Debt for me is are like credit cards and my student loan debt. So those are the biggest forms of debt that I have. I don't have a lot of credit card debt, honestly, but my student loan debt is like my biggest chunk of debt. Now, after you have a list of all your debt, this is going to be the tough part. But once you created that budget and you kind of see like where your money is and isn't going, you need to figure out how to add in those debt payments. Call the debt collectors and set up payment plans. Let me tell y'all, debt does not go away. I had to learn the hard way. Like I said, I have a lot of student loan debt, and to be honest, when I first graduated college, they had my payments super high, to the point like it was they were really high. So instead of calling them and telling them that this is ridiculous, I can't pay this based on my income, and having them lowering my monthly payments, I just ignored it. And I was doing good at first, but it eventually caught up to me. I eventually defaulted, and my credit score was trash, okay? And it got to the point where they were talking about garnishing my wages, and I was like, okay, I give in. Like, what y'all want me to do? So it sucks and it's hard, but the only way to really get out of debt, like, people always have these crazy, I don't want to say crazy, but people have these different seminars, and it's like they teach you tricks and things like that. Honestly, the only way to get out of debt is to pay it. Like, I don't have any other suggestion for you when it comes to paying debt. You just gotta pay it. There's a couple of things that you can do, like if you're super serious about paying off your debt and paying it off in a timely fashion. So again, like I said, budgeting kind of goes hand in hand. Once you have a list of all your expenses, you can like create a strict budget to the point where any extra money that you have, you're not going to spend it, you're going to put it towards your debt. Another option is like the snowball method. These are all things that I researched on my own because y'all, I needed help. So the snowball method is basically where you list out your amount of debts from the smallest amount to the highest amount, and so you pay the monthly balance on all of them, and then all that's extra you pay towards the smallest until you pay it off. Then once you pay that off, you do the same thing with the next smallest. So another thing, sometimes you can consolidate your loans. So if you have multiple loans, you can find like lenders that'll take all of your loans and combine them all together, and so that way you're just paying a monthly payment towards one amount instead of trying to divvy up money to these various lenders all the time. Again, you can do research on different methods on how to pay off debt, but again, the main way to decrease your debt is to pay it. And the thing too, you don't have to pay off all of your debt. Like if you're trying to improve your credit score, a lot of us feel like we have to completely pay off our debt in order to improve our credit score, but as long as you're paying on it, your credit score will increase. End of 2018, when I wasn't paying my student loans, my credit score was in the 500s. By 2019, once I got back on a payment plan and actually started paying a monthly amount, my credit score shot up to the 700s. So like I said, there's no other way than it's no other tricks. You just gotta pay it. My last talking point is about saving. When it comes to saving, you also want to incorporate this into your financial goals. So first of all, you want to make sure that you set your goal to something that's realistic and manageable for you. So when I first started saving a few years ago, before I got serious about it, I just used to do like $25 every pay period. I would have it automatically transferred from my checkings to my savings. So that's kind of where I started. That was realistic for me at that time. Honestly, I probably could have been doing more, but you know, I don't want you guys to jump in like, oh, I'm about to save $50,000 this year. Like, if you have the money to save $50,000, go ahead. But a lot of y'all don't even make $50,000 in a year. And that's no tea, no shade. I'm just saying, if you don't make $50,000 a year, you can't expect to save that much money in a year. Set a goal that's challenging, but still realistic. And so after you have your goal, what you want to do is, you know, break it down. So every month I need to save X amount in order to reach my goal by the end of the year. So once you have your monthly amount that you have to save, then based on how you get paid, you can break it down by pay period. And then like from my other little petty cash and other little money that I have coming in, you know, I can take 10% off of that and also add it to my savings until I reach my ultimate goal. It sounds like a lot as I'm going through all of this, but it's definitely possible. Again, it starts in the planning stage, getting your thoughts in order, getting your money in order, like listing it all out to see what you're working with. Once you know what you're working with, again, you can create a plan of action. Everything that I talked about in this video, I implemented into my life at, I don't want to say I did it all at the same time, but I would work on one thing, and once I got that under control, I would add another thing. Within the last 5 years, this has been my best year ever. Like I said, I was able to take 3 vacations. I was able to meet my financial goal. I was able to raise my credit score. And all of this happened because I had to have the integrity to say I want to improve my finances. Like, I was one of those people where it's like, oh, if I'm paying on debt and if I'm doing all that, my life is not going to be enjoyable. But if you want your life to still be enjoyable by doing that, you have to plan it out. A lot of people talk about, how they want to be rich and all this other stuff, but if you cannot manage the little bit of money you have now, even if you are able to acquire millions of dollars, it'll go to waste because you don't know how to manage it. So yeah, again, I just wanted to come and give you guys some more gems before we head into 2020. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but these are just some things that I have been implementing into my life in regards to budgeting, saving, paying off debt, and still being able to live a comfortable life and to do the things that I want to do with my money. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. I will do my best to answer it, and I'll see you guys next time.